As I said before, I'm just trying to be a better man for my kids, and I understand that I have and take accountability that I haven't been in full compliance with reporting. I've been doing the best that I can, Your Honor, and I'm at your mercy.
Court calls case of the people versus Judge Jane, I think Martin.
Johnny.
Okay. No, I did that the last time. You were much nicer about correcting me this time, but come on.
Good.
You said it nice this time. The last time it was like I had insulted her whole family. Anyway, go ahead.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Ms. Martin. Ms. Martin, please state your name again.
Johnny Martin.
Chris Blair on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Ms. Martin is before the
Here's where the case gets serious. The court is dealing with multiple probation violations, unpaid financial obligations, missing required programs, and a long gap in probation reporting. But the big question is, are these failures simply neglect, or is there more happening behind the scenes?
for a violation of probation period. Ms. Martin has been on probation for 2 years for a reduced charge of assault and battery. In this case, Your Honor, Ms. Martin has made no payments to the court. Her balance is $1,530. Probation has failed to receive completion of the CPS Family First Program and Parenting class. Ms. Martin also failed to report to probation after April of 2024. And Your Honor, her probation term is maxed in this case. Given that these items were not completed, probation is recommending that Ms. Martin serve 93 days in jail with credit for 1 day served, that she served the balance, waive remaining terms, accept the financial obligations, and discharge her from probation.
Ms. Perry.
Your Honor, I was able to speak with Ms. Martin about these issues. She believes that she did complete the CPS and parenting class. She's been trying to get in touch with them for the last week or so to get proof of that.
Now we get an important piece of context. The defense says she believes she completed the required classes, but the proof never reached probation. That creates a major problem in court. When compliance can't be verified, the judge has to make a decision based on what can actually be documented.
She has called the case manager that was on the case. She no longer works there. She gave her another number at CPS. They told her they would call her back. It's kind of she's been, thwarted by bureaucracy. So I'm asking to adjourn this hearing out a bit so she can continue working on that. Again, she remembers completing it, but
why didn't that information get to probation?
Frankly, Your Honor,
I can tell you why, because she never reported to probation.
She did. That is the allegation, Your Honor. Around the time that this was all happening, the father of her 2 youngest children was killed in Washtenaw County, and I think she's a single mother. That kind of, greatly affected her life, and she's been dealing with the repercussions of that since that happened in June of 2023. So she wants to get proof to probation. She's just having trouble doing so.
What about payment? I have no payment. I have no reporting to probation. I have nothing. I just started working out.
She has 5 children?
Yes.
5 children, 11, 8.
11, 9, 8, 3, and 1.
So she, for a long time, didn't have childcare to care for her children.
This is the moment the judge starts comparing today's explanation with what was ordered at the previous hearing. The issue isn't just whether life became difficult. The court also has to consider whether the defendant followed through on the commitments already made.
And work.
I just started working. I can't make a payment when I get my check. It is
How come
hard.
you didn't report to probation?
I don't know, like I had a, like after my child's father passed away in my apartment complex, I just shut down. It was like real hard on me.
I get all that, but I guess the last time you were before the court was in February. You're going to pay the fines and costs by March 3rd. No payments. You would report to probation. No reporting to probation. I'm assuming you were supposed to complete the Family First program and parenting classes. I don't have any proof of any of that.
As I completed it, I went to Orchard's Family, Children and Family Services. I think that's what it's called.
When?
I finished that class in 2023. I just didn't report it.
So you're saying that was completed before I sentenced you?
Yes.
Runner, I can try to look to see what the prosecutor's office may have.
What the prosecutor's office may have?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was provided to them to reduce the.
And here comes the ruling. The judge is giving her some relief by ending the remaining probation terms, but the jail sentence is still on the table. Notice the important detail. Proof that the class was completed could potentially change what happens next. Would you consider that a fair opportunity?
Charge, as this charge did originate as a child.
Anything else from anybody?
Nothing from me, Your Honor.
Do you have anything else you want to tell the court?
I was just give me some time to like make the payments. Like I'm all my kids got. Like I don't really want to go to jail. I'm already have.
Should have been keeping in track with probation.
Right.
You just didn't do anything.
I know that I did. Excuse me, I know I did.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to waive the remaining terms except for financial obligations. I'll discharge her from probation without improvement. What I am going to order is that she's to serve 93 days in jail. I'll give her credit for the 1 day. She's to serve the balance. I will strongly consider release if I get proof of completion of that class. All right, you're still going to owe the money. You need to set something up with the court. You're going today, but if they get me proof of that, then I'll consider release. I'm not guaranteeing that I'll release you, but at least I could have something to look at that says you did something.
Okay, can I at least call? Can we call the people?
Call which people?
For the.
You can talk to your attorney. We could figure out a way to make the call, but right now you're going. Defendants remanded. Court calls the case People versus Chance Stallings.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Stallings, who stands to my right.
The second case raises the stakes considerably. We're now hearing about unpaid court obligations, missing treatment documentation, inconsistent reporting, and a separate pending criminal case. Unlike the first hearing, the court is facing a much longer list of alleged violations.
Please state your name for the record, sir.
My name is Chance Stallings. Good morning, Your Honor.
Teresa Claire on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Stallings is before the court for a violation of probation.
You take your hands out of your pockets. Go ahead.
Mr. Stallings is non-compliant with the terms ordered by this court in that he owes a balance of $1,725. His last payment to this court was made in January of 2024. He failed to provide proof of substance abuse treatment. He failed to provide ongoing proof of mental health treatment. Mr. Stallings, to update the court, did provide me with some documentation, but that was dated in 23. So it's nothing that is updated or a status report that anything continued. He failed to report to probation as directed. He would contact me sporadically throughout the term, but nothing consistent like he was supposed to. Mr. Stallings also has a new pending criminal case of domestic violence and an assault out of Toledo. That alleged date of offense was February 20th of 2024. He failed to appear on that case and is in bench warrant status there. He has maxed the 2-year term in this case. Given all the violations before this court on this matter, probation is recommending that Mr. Stallings be remanded to serve 365 days in jail with credit for 77 days served, that he serve the remaining balance, that he complete the in-jail Dawn Farm program, waive remaining terms, accept his financial obligations, and discharge him from probation without improvements.
Response.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have had, of course, the opportunity to review the allegations as well as the recommendation and discuss them with Mr. Stallings. I guess I will just address each one by one. We do acknowledge that there is that balance owing. My client states that he could make the payment in full today. We do also acknowledge that the substance abuse treatment was not completed. However, my client does state to me that he has been on his own attending NA meetings and that he is on a waiting list through his insurance for the mental health to get into the substance abuse treatment program. He relays to me that he's been on a waiting list for almost 2 years. He did provide that documentation from 2023 that Ms. Polero referred to. We do acknowledge that the reporting has been sporadic. Mr. Stallings states to me that during his time on probation, he experienced homelessness for quite some time. So he often didn't have access to a phone, or he didn't have an ID to be able to go to the library and use their computer to try to do the online monthly reports. He does acknowledge, and there's no arguing that, yes, his reporting was very, very sporadic. And he does acknowledge that a lot of it was because of his housing insecurity and homelessness. He does also acknowledge that there is that new case. As of right now, they are just allegations, and he does believe that he will be found not guilty upon the resolution of that case. Ultimately, we're asking that the court, when I do also want to mention, my client also suffers from narcolepsy, and he has been applying and trying to get SSI. We are asking that the court, because we do acknowledge that the probation term here is maxed. I'm asking the court to discharge him from probation without improvement, waive the remaining terms outside of the financial, which he states he could pay the balance in full today, and not impose the jail time, given the fact that he has dealt with some serious housing insecurity and does have a health issue. And in the alternate, if the court was to impose the jail time, I would ask if the court would consider early release upon the completion of that in jail Dawn Farm program. Outside of that, Your Honor, that would be my request.
Anything you want to say, Mr. Stallings?
Your Honor, I had a pretty unbalanced last 2 years. The first year I was pretty decent with reporting and keeping updated with Ms. Polero. Once I fell into homelessness, I really fell off track. I've recently started improving again. I have a job. I work at Speedway. I recently got a tax refund, which is why.
And that's the final decision. 365 days in jail with credit for 77 days already served. What makes this hearing especially interesting is the balance the court had to consider accountability on one side and homelessness, treatment efforts, and personal circumstances on the other. Do you think the sentence was justified?
Today, Your Honor, the defendant in that case is present in the courtroom, and
In which
the one that's out of Toledo. We're working on getting it dropped. It's just a really tedious process with the clerk's offices out there. She's trying to contact the prosecutor to set up an talk. As I said before, I'm just trying to be a better man for my kids, and I understand that I have and take accountability that I haven't been in full compliance with reporting. I've been doing the best that I can, Your Honor, and I'm at your mercy.
Well, there's not a lot else I can do. I will order that he, once remanded, is to complete the in jail non-farm program. I'll consider maybe circumstances of his release at that point in time. I'm going to waive the remaining terms except for financial obligations, discharge him from probation without improvement. I am going to sentence the defendant to 365 days in jail, credit 77 days served.
And that brings this courtroom session to a serious conclusion. Johnny Martin faced probation violations involving $1,530 in unpaid court obligations, missing probation reporting, and disputed completion of required family and parenting programs. Although she explained that she had been dealing with major personal hardships and believed she had completed the classes, the judge ordered 93 days in jail with credit for 1 day served, while leaving the financial obligations intact and indicating that proof of completion could potentially support an earlier release. Then came Chance Stallings, whose violations were even more extensive: $1,725 owed, incomplete treatment documentation, inconsistent probation reporting, housing insecurity, and a separate pending criminal case. His attorney presented evidence of homelessness, treatment efforts, and his attempt to rebuild his life, but the court ultimately ordered 365 days in jail with credit for 77 days served, while also directing him to complete the in-jail Dawn Farm program and considering possible release afterward. The larger lesson is clear. Probation isn't simply a second chance without conditions. Once a court imposes reporting, treatment, payment, or program requirements, those obligations matter, and failing to comply can have serious consequences. At the same time, these hearings show why judges must weigh both accountability and the circumstances behind a defendant's failures. Do you think the court struck the right balance in these two cases? Drop your opinion in the comments. If this courtroom breakdown gave you a different perspective on probation violations, hit like, share this video with another courtroom fan, and subscribe for more real cases, tough rulings, and courtroom moments you won't want to miss.